Hey everybody, I hope y'all are having a wonderful Wednesday. It's Miss Rebecca again. I'm here to talk to you guys today about something called environmental responsibility because it is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So we're going to have some fun facts. We're going to talk about how we can help the environment and what that has to do with us as far as social thinking. Um, because obviously, usually we're doing something that has to do with social emotional learning and caring for our environment and being a good steward of our environment is very important. We have that social responsibility. So I've got some facts for you guys today. Did you guys know that we're in a bee crisis right now? And some of you may know why that matters and why that's really important, why it's such a big deal. But all over the world, bees are leaving their hives and they're just disappearing. And honeybees are really, really important to our environment because they are pollinators. Now, pollinators are actually responsible for a lot of our food sources. They pollinate flowers because, of course, those flowers help them make honey. Honey they live on through the winter, and when they travel from flower to flower, they pollinate, and that helps flowers. Flowers lead to fruit and other things that we eat, and then other animals eat those, and that's a very important part of the life cycle and the food chain. So our bees are disappearing, and there are a lot of ways that we can help. So one of the ways that you can help is you can talk to your parents about limiting use of pesticides outside. A lot of pesticides are very harmful to bees. They can lead to the death of bees, and we certainly do not want that because bees are very, very important. You can plant flowers. Also, gardening is a wonderful way to help calm down and help relieve stress and get outside, get in the sunshine. It can help elevate your mood if you're kind of having a blue day. Um, Other ways that you can help is if you see honeybees out, don't kill them. Don't just leave them alone. They're not there to hurt you. If you step on one or if you hurt one, it might sting a little, but they have a very important purpose here. So don't be scared of them and don't run from them, and certainly don't step on them or squash them if you see them outside. Try to protect them. Secondly, trees. Trees are very important. As most of you know, they are important because they supply us with oxygen. Oxygen we have to breathe. On average, one tree can produce 260 pounds of oxygen for a year. Or, I'm sorry, that was one tree. One tree. One mature tree can produce 260 pounds of oxygen each year. Two mature trees planted can help provide a family of four with oxygen for that year. So that's really, really cool. Um, one way that you can help with trees is obviously you can plant one. Try not to damage trees by peeling their bark or cutting on them or hitting on them. You could plant fruit trees, and that would also help the bees because those, of course, have blossoms on them in the springtime. That'll help with pollination. That'll give the bees some sustenance. So if you guys are out and about, plant a tree, help provide care for trees. Trees are wonderful. They create shade. You can climb on them. They're kind of fun to play in. I like to climb trees as a kid. So yeah, plant a tree. Number 3, pick up litter. Even if you didn't throw it down, that's a really responsible thing to do, is to pick up litter even if you're not responsible for it being on the ground. So if you're out and you happen to see a piece of trash on the ground, it'd be wonderful to see some of you out picking up that trash and throwing that away. It's really harmful to our environment. Of course, rain will wash trash into our waterways. Those waterways carry trash to our oceans, and that is very, very detrimental to our ocean life. So a lot of you have probably seen the video of the sea turtle with the straw in its nose. It's harmful to lots of different animals. So make sure you're picking up your trash or other people's trash if you see it out. Maybe pick a day to go out and enjoy some of the weather and get out and pick up some trash around your neighborhood if it's safe to do so. Make sure you have an adult with you, though. And then another thing you can do is, guys, I don't know if most of you know, but there are the 3 R's. The first R is reduce. Reduce the amount of waste that you are putting out into the environment. You can do that by getting things that are biodegradable, that are going to break down on their own. Things like styrofoam and certain types of plastic, they won't break down, and they're just kind of there forever, and they're really harmful to the environment. So maybe find things that say that they're biodegradable or they're compostable. Sometimes you can find little K-cup, the coffee cups, and they're compostable. You can throw them on a compost pile and they'll break down naturally. So that's some really cool stuff. So that's one way you can reduce the amount of waste you're using. And be careful with natural resources. Don't waste, guys. Make sure you're not wasting your water. Don't leave the sink running while you're brushing your teeth. Take shorter showers. Those are some ways that you can reduce the amount of natural resources that you're using and reduce the amount of waste that you're putting out into the environment. The second one is reuse. That's the second R. Reuse. You can reuse lots of things. And maybe one of the activities that we do on here is getting water bottles and making sensory bottles. That's a way to reuse something to keep it out of landfills. We could reuse water bottles. You can reuse water bottles, clean them, wash them, and reuse them again. Put some water in them if you're going to be outside to keep hydrated. I use my Ingles bags. You can take those and recycle them, but I also use them as little trash bags to line my waste baskets in my bathrooms. Some people will use them to carry their lunch in. I mean, there are lots of ways to reuse that plastic so that it's not getting out into the environment and filling up our landfills. And then the third one is recycle. Recycle anything that says it can be recycled. Paper, cardboard, plastic, glass bottles. And if you happen to go with your parents to one of the convenience centers around the county, you'll see an area around that where they have dumpsters that are just for cardboard, so that can be recycled. Make sure that whenever we get back to school that you guys are throwing your paper where it can be recycled, so that everything that can be recycled is being recycled, so that it reduces the amount of waste getting into our landfills. And so in that frame, I have a mindfulness card here today. This one's called Everything Changes, and I chose it because it is based around watching the flow of life. And it is Earth Day, so Earth is a flow of life. I used a word earlier called steward, being a good steward. The earth doesn't belong to us, but I believe that we were put here to help take care of it. So by following all of these tips, those can be ways that we can help take care of the earth and be good stewards. A steward is a person who takes care of something. So, all right, so this mindfulness card says, have you ever noticed that things change every day? Like the weather. Perhaps a tree has a new bud, or a flower has wilted, or your toenails are longer than they were last week, or a new student has joined your class. Some changes are big and some are small. You might feel happy about some changes and sad about others, and that's okay. Look around you and find one thing that has stayed the same and something else that has changed. Maybe the sunny sky of the morning is still sunny. Maybe a bird you saw outside has flown away. What do you see? Write, draw, or tell someone how you feel about these changes. So whenever you're outside, maybe if you do decide to go plant some flowers for the bees, or you're outside playing and enjoying this beautiful sunny weather we've been blessed with today, you can take a minute to notice the changes. Are you noticing that there are more leaves on the trees than there were just a couple of weeks ago? Have you noticed that the world looks greener right now because it is springtime and things are budding out? Maybe a flower that you've planted or your parents have planted has started to poke through the soil, and you're starting to see those bright colors and the flowers blooming. What about birds? I've noticed that Miss Leah Jordan, she's Hunter's first grade teacher at West Marion Elementary. She had a wren nest built on the holder for her water hose. And some of the changes there is we've watched those baby birds go from, or the nest go from empty to having eggs and then baby birds. The world is always changing, but we can help change it for the better by doing our part and being responsible for our environment by making sure that we're taking care of our pollinators, and butterflies are included in that. So make sure that you're looking out for some caterpillars. We'll be starting to see some monarchs pretty soon, some little monarch caterpillars. So don't mow down your milkweed. You're welcome, Miss Crawley. So we can watch out for our pollinators, bees, wasps, butterflies, moths. We can help by planting a tree or taking care of the trees that we already have. Make sure that you're picking up your litter and that you're following through with the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. So that's all that I have for today. This is a shorter lesson, so that I hope that you guys continue having, that was Hunter walking by, sorry. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday, that you continue to have a wonderful Wednesday, that you are doing something to help our environment in celebration of Earth Day's 50th birthday, and that you have a great day tomorrow. We love you, we miss you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.